Actually,
in New
DJ
York.
Elf 7 I prefer because there's so many Ed Lees out there. You
There's
probably
so
went to
many
church.
at least. You're right.
Yeah, you went to probably church with 3 Ed Lees, like I did. So it's hard to brand myself, right?
Yeah.
People look up Ed Lee and they can't find me. DJ Elf 7, they definitely right. There's no other Elf 7s out there.
Yeah.
So Michael Won. Like Won is a rare last name, right?
You're
Han,
right.
Ken, right?
That's
You have
what's so
zillion of
important.
them.
Yeah,
So,
I chose an American name, Michael, because I liked the how it sounded. But yeah,
but
my
there's
last
so
name,
many Michaels.
I
Michael,
know.
Jonathan, Ed, Steve. It's the
Yeah, yeah.
standard Korean names. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean?
Yeah, but I chose. I mean, one is given to me, so I have that, so people can easily find me compared to you.
All right, folks, we are live. I have a very, very special guest on. Very rare for me to have Korean guests on. Actually, this guy is actually a mover and shaker. I actually saw him several years ago. I tried to reach out to him because I saw he was doing some news programs. He did get back to me. It's okay. Like, I'm a nobody. And also, he probably gets swamped with a lot of emails. He's making big things happen. He just had a meeting with, I think, someone who was former Republican chair of California. I'd seen his work a little bit. And then I got reacquainted with him from K-Town Social. But I'm going to let him introduce himself. I'm very excited to have him on the program. Go ahead, Mike. Introduce yourself.
Hey Ed, yeah. By the way, if you sent me an email properly, I would have noticed it. I just probably went to the spam. But I would have never purposely ignored. Yeah.
Oh, it's all good. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
But my name is Michael Won. I've been a journalist since 2002. I started off as a sports journalist, but I was more of a political junkie back in my college years. But started off covering sports, Major League Baseball, NFL, PGA, you name it. I covered all of it. Especially, I think during the Kobe Bryant when he scored 81 points. Remember that season, 2005-2006 season?
I never really got into sports, man.
Oh, you're not into it. Okay, so I
Yeah.
covered almost every single game, at the Staples Center. But I did write. I just start writing politics from late 2000s. I would say that's when I started working as a local reporter, local news reporter, and also city politics, state politics, and national politics. And I've been writing columns, and I started my YouTube channel, and I think that's how you got to know me. Did you get to know me by my English channel or a Korean channel?
I don't speak Korean. Sorry to say.
Oh, so it will be English. Okay, so I
so
start my English YouTube channel as well. But first off, I started my Korean YouTube channel, which leaned conservative. I didn't consider myself conservative. I considered myself more of an independent, but I found out the majority of the mainstream media, they all lean left, and I have this natural tendency to be on the side of the weaker side. You understand what I'm saying? So everybody's just covering how the mainstream Democratic Party angle point of view, but I wanted the Korean American audience to know about what conservative Americans has to say, because I would say almost close to 100% of the media that Korean Americans consume, especially the first generation and 1.5, even second generation, they pretty much get translated version of the New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS. So I was the first media guy and commentator who talked about the other side. Doesn't mean that I necessarily always followed Fox. Okay, I disagreed with them a lot. I saw Donald Trump's ascent. I saw it back in 2004. Actually, I knew once I saw a series of his interviews, I knew that he's going to get traction. He's going to get traction because I did agree with a lot of things that he talked. He talked about many things that even Republicans didn't talk about, and I think many of what majority of what Donald Trump is about is skewed in a very wrong way by the mainstream media, because I guess they just don't like him, the way he talks. They pretty much don't like Republicans. I guess you agree on that, right?
Actually, I want to throw this out for you right quick. The thing is that recently you saw that there was something called ANHPI for Kamala Harris, right? Led by Ken Jeong. Like the Weekend or the Bachelor, whatever, like Little Penis. Oh, I can't believe they had that guy headlining.
You're
it's
talking
disgusting.
You're talking about that former doctor comedian who.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Who came out on Hangover, right?
He's not allowed in New York.
No,
just
I agree,
so you know.
I agree
If he comes
with you
to New
on
York,
that.
let me know. I'm busting this shit up. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that Ken Jeong was playing along that Asian stereotype character. I don't like that either. And I think, all the Korean American entertainers that we see in Hollywood, scene, they are all just sucking up to the mainstream media. You know what I'm saying? The
So
Hollywood people.
check this out, right? So
Being their
they had their whack version headlined by this jerk off, right? Yeah. So I'm trying to have an AAPI, right? Not NHPI, because you know it's a dumb term, right? Hawaii is an island in the Pacific, right? What is this? Who inserted NH, right? They didn't ask us.
The N
But
stands for native, right?
Native Hawaiian, yeah.
Yeah.
But Hawaii is an island in the Pacific. Like, who decided to change the term, right? Like, look, you were probably old enough when they decided to make us Asians, right? Yeah, they never asked us. We were called Oriental before, and we didn't really have a problem with it. But all of a sudden, some activists decided that, oh, Oriental is a bad term, so now we're going to call it Asians. It's stupid, but whatever.
But it does. To be honest, perfectly honest
yeah.
with you, I do think that it does sound a little bit nice to be called an Asian rather than an Oriental. I don't know.
Hey,
somehow.
whatever,
I don't know. Probably I might have been a little bit brainwashed that way. But
man.
yeah, but back to my story. That's
we
what
did an AAPI for Trump event. Now the thing is that just so you know, would you be willing to participate in that? New York right here, LA on the West Coast, right? Yeah. And the fact of the matter is and you know, and I'd like to have it more of an honest, open conversation, right?
Sure.
The thing is that rather than being shills for Kamala, we could even say like, you know, there's about Trump where we think it was cool. There's some things that we think that, you know, we'd like to have conversation on. But overall, I'm so disgusted by Kamala and her pandering and her, manipulating with Ken Jeong and having him headline. It's an insult to our people. You know what I mean? So would you be down to be part of an AAPI for Trump type of event?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, and I'm completely with you. I'm completely with you on that. I don't like that the mainstream media to me is evil. They spread misinformation, disinformation, and they're. I tell it to my audience. I consider them like criminal entity. I think they're like a criminal organization.
I'm with you 100%. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to say that Jimmy Dore is part of, right? Yeah, I'm not saying the mainstream media, but it's also invaded their space too. But just so you know, some of the exciting people that I'm going to be inviting to is like a guy named David O. He's Korean American. He ran for mayor of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a very key swing state. I'm addressing people. Missouri, they have a guy. I work with the wrongfully incarcerated. Mutio Jamu Saber, one of the longest wrongfully incarcerated men in U.S. history, 42 years wrongfully incarcerated, was working on David O's campaign. Chinchilla Jonizia, she's got a show in Pennsylvania tied to Vincent Motor, the first man freed on DNA evidence. They both worked for David O's campaign, a Korean American. Yeah. So if we could get Philly in the house, LA in the house, New York in the house, I'm going to get to contact Hong Kao, some other high-profile Asian Americans on the Trump side, and see if we could put some real stuff together, man. Yo, you were one of the keys, man. So thank you. Thank you, man. This is amazing. Go ahead.
So for this presidential election, you were supporting Trump?
Yeah, actually, I just gave a speech last night at the Central Queens GOP. I'm also working with the Conservative Party. Look, I'm advertising as progressive, and I know inside the Republicans, some of them hate that term. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. But the fact of the matter is that you're right. There's a lot of BS. Mm-hmm. Narrative manipulation, and they treat Asian Americans like I was actually in front of I have a video I could show you later where I'm in front of Al Sharpton's he leads some DEI thing at some guy, and he's been doing a protest there every Thursday. Yeah. So I went out there screaming about how Asian Americans are looked down upon, and he's got to say that I'm one of him because I've been helping all the poor people in his organization, including Reverend Keith Gadsden, wrongfully incarcerated 32 years. A lady named Marie Presley, a little old black lady who got beat up in her own home by corrupt, not-for-profit industrial complex. The press isn't covering it. And I even have the documentation that shows that, like, even though there's an Asian American guy there screaming about how DAI is not including us, you know about the lawsuit that happened, with Harvard.
Harvard and North Carolina.
Yeah, you ever heard of Kenny Sue?
Kenny Sue?
He's the one who's he's running for Congress in North Carolina. He actually sued Congress. Oh, okay. He sued Harvard, right? Yeah, he was part of the lawsuit.
So he was the one who sued Harvard. Okay,
he's one of them. Yeah,
you're talking about the affirmative action issue, right?
Yeah, David Pan's also working on this too. So I'm also trying to get him.
Yeah, and like you said, most of the Democrats, I bet even Ken Jeong and all these Hollywood figures, they support affirmative action, right? In a sense, for them supporting Kamala Harris.
It sounds nice, but not when it hurts us. You know what I mean? There's no fear about it.
People are just so brainwashed and they want to suck up to the system. And like, I criticize, I talk about this issue a lot. The Korean Americans, I think when the immigrant story is they want to realize their American dream, and by that for them, they think that the prerequisite to achieve the American dream is to go to these prestigious schools, right? Like Harvard, Yale, Princeton. And if you go to these schools, you get brainwashed and you support these affirmative action. You know what I'm saying? You become our own enemy. And I think that's a huge problem. And I think, what do you say? I think I do believe that Korean Americans at large, even Asian Americans, and it really hurts me to say this, they're being, what do you call it? Useful idiots. They're being useful idiots. And I think in the mass media business, I think I was a pioneer of talking about this issue. Nobody talked about it before me, and I felt kind of surprised too. I thought, I'm pretty young, how come nobody has talked about this issue prior to me coming into the news business in 2002, and nobody talked about it.
I'm very grateful for it. Hell yeah, you know what I mean? Actually, I'd like to show something on the screen right here.
Go
This
ahead.
is actually a study by Harvard themselves. These people, right? Yeah. Actually, I've been making a big issue of this. Check out this one. This is actually Harvard, their own study right here. You can see that right there. Asian Americans are right. This is Harvard Business Review right here. Asian Americans are the least likely group in the U.S. to be promoted to management. What? You know what I mean? That's Harvard themselves saying this. What good is this Harvard education? It's trash, man. It's trash.
Really
I agree.
Actually, one of my colleagues' daughter, she graduated Harvard, but she couldn't get a job. So the mom asked me to help her out, find a job in City Hall, and I tried to help her out, and many of them refused to hire her. The reason was because overqualification, but I don't know. I think many of the government employees, and also even on the private side, some of them don't want to hire these prestigious school people who graduated these schools because they would just change their jobs. You know what I'm saying? And they're tougher to
retain,
tougher to work with. And I heard, point blank, some people told me they prefer state college students over these Harvard, Yale, Princeton, because they're so difficult to deal with. That's what they said. So I understand,
but it's just disgusting. So the fact of the matter is that, right, I would be for affirmative action, but it's weaponized against us, and in that case, right,
it has been weaponized against us. And like you said, like Ken Jeong and those people, those figures are kind of leading the charge in a way. It's kind of sad.
Cucking is not inclusion; it's an insult, right? Yeah, if you call that inclusion, this Ken Jeong guy, oh my, Ken Jeong, just so you know, I did come to New York. I'm shutting that program down. I'll be outside protesting. I'm gonna try to shut it down. Try to come to New York, bro. You're not invited here. You're not allowed in New York.
And Edward, do you remember the whole Asian hate crime thing when that happened right during the pandemic, 2020? I think
Grace Meng's trying to weaponize it against
exactly.
Trump. That's
the weaponization. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. They're trying to use this because I remember on the front page of the LA Times, they said Asian hate crime jumped 150%. But when you actually look at the specific counts, it went from 9 to 15. Okay, so 9 to 15, one too many. But they were trying to push this narrative that Asian hate crime is happening because Trump said something. They wanted to gear this to build this Asian anti-hate Trump narrative. You understand what I'm saying?
I do understand, and it's really manipulative and it's disgusting. And honestly, I'm so excited that you're on board because I must ship this out to my entire mailing list. The fact that we got someone from LA on board now, I think will really help us to secure the other people that I've talked about, right? Like David O, David Pan, Hung Kao, Kenny Sue. Let's have a real conversation about what's going on and stop with this blatant,
really
Ken Jeong bullshit.
So many people get deceived by this narrative, and even if you watch the Koreatown Social Club, they all got into this narrative. But actually, I think Douglas kind of admitted to me that it is true that the mainstream media is using this narrative to go against. Then why play along with it? You know what I'm saying? These hate crime issue has been going on. If you want to really be specific about it, it has been going on all the time.
Yeah.
And what I think is
look at Do the Right Thing by Spike Lee. Even the black people know this is an issue for us.
Exactly. So what I think is like papers like New York Times, Washington Post, and TV stations like CNN, and LA Times, they want to push this narrative. What I think is sometimes I wonder whether they want this to happen. They want this.
They absolutely do.
Right.
And this is just one thing I want to mention right now.
Copycat to happen.
Absolutely. Here's another thing, right? The thing is that I know that you're a former news director for Radio Korea.
Yeah,
And Radio Korea has a very storied place in history as in
sure.
terms of gathering Koreans during the LA
Yes,
riots, the
yes,
largest domestic disturbance in US history.
yes.
And we know that even though Koreans are only 1/10 of the LA population, they suffered half the damages in the most damaging occurrence. Because the thing is that once, right, the blacks started to feel unrest, they started pointing at Koreans and say they're your problem, even though we
Right.
never made them slaves. So now the
Exactly.
thing is that there's this new AANHPI curriculum here in New York State, and it makes, even though it's supposedly they implemented the AANHPI curriculum to stop Asian hate, there's zero mention of the word LA riot.
Yeah, yeah.
This
And
is so historically
the,
relevant.
the media portrayed it that way. And I don't know whether you remember the current mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass. What she said back in 1992 was the LA riot, getting all those liquor store burned. She said that was a miracle because we always wanted to get rid of them. Can you believe that?
What a fucking,
Imagine if an Asian mayor said that, right? Imagine that it was a miracle that they always wanted to get rid of those liquor stores.
they're targeting us. It's ridiculous. We're a convenient victim. You know what I mean? It's disgusting and
We
wrong.
are a convenient victim. So
Yeah.
I think that's why we have to show respect to the LA rooftop. What do you call it? The Koreatown rooftop gang members. Do you remember that?
Rooftop Koreans?
Rooftop Koreans. Not gang
That's
members.
me.
Yeah,
Rooftop Koreans. That's right.
We should show proper respect because they were the ones who protected the Korean community back then when the police didn't.
And Radio Korea was helping to organize them, telling them, "Oh, look, they're about to invade your neighborhood. We need you guys to, get to a safe place, or you're about to be overrun." And they saved Koreans' lives. So the fact that Radio Korea has such a storied place in this, and the fact that the LA riots are completely not mentioned the AANHPI curriculum, not only does it get rid of the LA riots, it also makes no mention of the words of Palestine or Palestinians, even
And
though they're
yeah,
Asian Americans too. And Edward Said coined the term Oriental.
yeah.
So how do they erase that from history?
And the city government is even trying to downplay it. They're trying to change the term. They already did from LA riots to now. You know what they call it? LA unrest, civil unrest. So that
The
gives
largest disturbance in U.S. history.
yeah,
It's
the LA
disgusting.
civil unrest. So that kind of is pushing the narrative, seeing it from the African American side. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to push when in actuality it was the Korean Americans who took the biggest hit. So actually that is an insult to the community again,
Absolutely.
the Asian community and the Korean community specifically, for them to change from LA's riots to LA civil unrest. That's ridiculous because that was no civil unrest. That was a riot.
Yeah. Talking. So I just switch it up too. But another thing that I want to talk about is, look, I'm not saying that I agree with Trump on everything, but the fact of the matter is that he actually stopped the military exercises off the coast of Korea. Can you imagine North Korea was doing military exercises off of California coast? We would never tolerate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Trump said, "You know what? I think that's too much. We're gonna ease off of that, right? Yeah." But Biden put it back in. Why are you trying to poke the bear? Why are you trying to create this nuclear war? Our people, our diaspora is living on the front of a nuclear war. Hey, I don't appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying that go ahead.
Yeah, to piggyback on your point, you're exactly right. When Kim Jong-un was in a predicament, and then he wanted to have one-on-one meeting with Donald Trump, right?
Yeah.
And after that Singapore meeting, they built up this rapport where you can kind of complain to each other. Like Kim Jong-un was complaining to Donald Trump. They were doing that exercise, the military exercise, and Kim Jong-un was, "Hey man, I thought that we were cool about it."
Oh no, diplomacy. Oh no.
Can you kind of cool down? Yeah, can you cool down on that military exercise? And Trump stopped it. Remember that? I think that's exactly what you talked about. And that is great diplomacy. And that is we were seeing peace in real time. We were seeing peace in real time. But I wish that people would be awake enough to acknowledge that, rather than seeing, because everybody was saying, the mainstream media was saying that Donald Trump is gonna ignite World War III, ignite a nuclear war against North Korea, but it was the exact opposite that happened. Peacetime happened. North Korea Kim Jong-un didn't shoot any ICBMs after the meeting.
It's with this energy, right? Being homeless at the age of 16, right? Because of the extreme violence I faced at home, right? I became the New York State coordinator for the People's Party. And the fact of the matter is that right now they had the Jimmy Dore and his little freaking bullshit clan, right? They had their freaking Rage Against the War Machine. They don't even have white war victims, not even Russians, Ukrainians. Jill Stein and Tulsi Gabbard and freaking Jimmy Dore, right? Yeah. They had Kim Iverson. She didn't speak one thing about Asian Americans at all. You know, I mean, she's got a white husband. I'm not saying that, you know, she's actually part of the cover up. Think about, right? Yeah. I'm not saying that they don't get to be a part of the movement. They are excluding war victims like myself. I'm also had I had a president, not U.S., but a president candidate who's running for Namibia, the site of the Second Reich. They say never forget, right? Yeah. I'm not saying I'm anti-Jewish because, you know, like, I have a lot of good stories about Jews, but the fact of the matter is that the Israeli forces right there, they talk about the suffering that happened during the Holocaust. You know, there was a Second Reich, and who are the victims? Namibians and Africans, and we don't care about them because they're black. They also had a genocide there too. And we know that Koreans were also the victims of a lot of, right, you know, about there was something called like Section 7 or something like that, where the Japanese were torturing us. And they said, you know what, the Holocaust, they completely forgot the Holocaust of Koreans, completely just never forget. They forgot about us.
Yeah.
Why are there no Korean American anti-war activists? Because when one of us tries to come up, you know, I mean, Jimmy Dore or one of his media just smacks us back in place and says, you know what, shut up, get back in place. Nah, man. You know, I mean,
Okay, so Edward, Ed, can you tell me more about Jimmy Dore? The reason why you don't like him that much? Because you know that I kind of do like him.
I was a fan of him myself too. I get it, right? Yeah, he was outspoken. The Russia thing was, you know, like you know, it was leaning some bullshit. So back in the day, I was a fan of his. That's why I joined the People's Party. But the fact of the matter is that I also found there was a guy named Dak Rouleau, right? In the People's Party, there was different factions, and I was with the Tulsi faction because Tulsi was anti-war. Tulsi was for supporting Assange.
You mean Tulsi Gabbard?
Yeah. I was a big Tulsi Gabbard fan.
Tulsi. I love Tulsi. I think
Hey,
she's anti-war. She's anti-war.
I was a huge fan of her. I actually organized a protest at Good Morning America, New York Times. I was doing mad shit out here for Tulsi Gabbard. I have the T-shirt right here. I could show you. I have
you
a
mean
flag.
Back when she ran for a president back in 2020?
Yeah. So I was part of that. I was.
Yeah, you know, I felt, you know, if Democrats picked a candidate like Tulsi Gabbard, I told myself she would be a huge threat to the Republican Party. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because she would garner all the
absolutely,
you know, moderate votes too.
She's also a war veteran, right? Yeah, like you got to respect that, things like that. And I know, like, you know, people would say, why would you respect war veterans? Because they ripped every country. Because I've been through a war, even though it's in the 50s, right? Yeah, a lot of that war violence was visited upon me. I know it's a hellhole. So I respect that they had to survive through that. I respect all survivors, right? Yeah. And the fact that she's coming against war, I appreciate that. So, and a lot of the Tulsi crew,
because she went through war, I respect her more. Yeah, because she told us all the atrocities that happened with it.
Right, Jill Stein never went through war. So, anyways, the thing is that Tulsi Gabbard, right? She's also AAPI candidate, right? Technically, right? So the thing is that a lot of people from the Tulsi, remember that they didn't even let her speak at the convention afterwards. They said that she wasn't running when she was. They did all kinds of dirty stuff to her. So a lot of Tulsi people left the Democrat Party and joined the People's Party. You remember the People's Party had a lot of celebrity support, stuff like that. We were controlling New York. Tulsi supporters controlled New York, Illinois, and Washington State, and also Hawaii, 4 states, right? It was pretty significant. They only had 14 states at the end. We were pretty big. And that was just when they were taking off. So the thing is that we supported Assange, and I have the receipts that show.
Assange. You mean Julian Assange, right?
Yeah.
Best journalist out there. So he's the one who just put the truth out there.
But the Bernie supporters did not support Assange because Bernie did not come out really for Assange the way that Tulsi did. So the thing is that they actually
I think Bernie's compromised. That's what.
Yeah. So all of us, all the Tulsi supporters, were wiped out of the People's Party for supporting Assange too much. I went for over 200 consecutive days on Twitter, posting, when is the People's Party going to address? I was actually kicked out of the People's Party for pushing for Assange to be put on the platform. Not only that, but Dak Rouleau, I could show you his work. He actually interviewed every single presidential candidate, Andrew Yang, Bernie Sanders, right? Amy Klobuchar, all of them, right? He asked them if they would support Assange, and they got rid of him. Jimmy Dore's whole clique, anybody who goes too far to actually advance the things that they talk about, they get rid of them. Where's the state?
Yeah, are you saying that Jimmy Dore was kind of anti-Tulsi?
No, he was no. The thing is that the people that was running the People's Party were the Bernie supporters. Remember,
Yeah, yeah,
Nick
yeah,
Brana
yeah.
was actually came out of the Bernie movement. And
You're talking about the Democratic Justice Party. Wasn't the Young Turks kind of behind all that? With AOC coming out, and
okay, so there was
Jimmy
different.
Dore played a big role there too, right?
You're talking about Justice Democrats, but
Justice
I'm talking
Democrat.
about the People's Party. Justice Democrats was
Okay.
through the Democratic
Yeah.
Party. But I was a Green since the 90s because I'd been an activist since the 90s, and I'd seen how the Democrats would say something to your face. Then I would watch them go into the voting chamber and something else would happen. I'd be like,
Yeah.
what? So
Mhm.
I knew from the 90s, way back when, that the Democrats weren't always as advertised.
Mhm.
I knew the value of being in a third party. I actually have more interviews with like up to Hudson Green Party. I have the Green Party Alaska. I have U.S. presidential candidates recently just come out to say supporting how Dore and Hinkle too, right? Yeah, I was the first person in the nation that forced
You
the
mean
vote.
Jackson Hinkle?
He's compromised too, man. He's actually he was actually used as a replacement for the actual grassroots movement. 7 separate generations of People's Party leadership cried out for where'd all the money go that they collected at the People's Party?
Yeah, he's getting a lot of why is he getting a lot of traction all of a sudden, Jackson Hinkle? Is he supposed to be a MAGA
Dore
communist?
pumped him
Isn't
up.
he a supporter?
Because Dore pumped him up. Because the thing is that Hinkle showed that he will be loyal to the people with the money and the celebrity versus the people on the ground doing the actual work. You've never seen Jackson. I have. We got the we got the New York State Disabilities Coordinator reinstated. I have worked with the longest wrongfully incarcerated men in New York State and Pennsylvania history. I'm talking about David O. I'm talking about I'm working with local leaders. Like I just gave a speech last night at the Central Queens Republican Party.
Mhm.
Right? Yeah, I'm doing a lot of work with local candidates, stuff like that. I can show you the video, right, of myself leading Yang Gang, MPP, New Jersey, and New York, and our Revolution, New Jersey, to Schumer's doorstep.
When you say Yang Gang, that would be Andrew Yang, right?
Yeah, Andrew Yang. Oh, he's trash too, man. I'm sorry to say.
Wasn't he also about that People Party stuff, right?
I brought him in. I brought his people in. Remember at the first convention, that was my work. They felt threatened, so they asked me. They didn't want to speak. I didn't care as long as the
I
ground
knew
worked
that
together.
Andrew Yang was BS from the get-go. He stopped by here at Koreatown, at the Wilton Theater. I felt
it wasn't BS
and he
about
wasn't getting a lot of traction. He was more of a media fabrication rather than a people.
There you go.
Him.
The media also,
the media. Look at his votes. He didn't get a lot of votes.
I actually just so you know, I don't know if you see this sign right here. I work with all the parties, Libertarians, Green Party, Democrats, Republicans. I know all the ground forces. If you see this Libertarian sticker right here, right? Yeah, I'm a registered Green right now. You know what I mean? I've done work with the Democrats.
You used to be a Libertarian back in the day?
I joined pretty recently because of my work with after 2020. No, I was a Green since the 90s, right? Yeah.
So, but back to Jimmy Dore, you were saying that Jimmy Dore is also one of the propaganda machines.
Anybody who makes he says a lot of truths, which is great, right? Like I understand the appeal because I joined the People's Party. But the fact of the matter is that he makes sure that anybody who actually makes progress on these issues, if you go too far to address Assange issues, you're cut down. If you actually try to make a third party happen,
about Julian Assange issues, isn't he also one of the proponents of Julian Assange?
He is with his mouth. With his mouth, he said, and I'm not saying like that's all bad, right? But he makes sure that other people who are getting things done for Assange are cut down.
But Ed, if you look at Jimmy Dore, he's a comedian, stand-up comedian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I do think he has a huge following. I think pretty much now a lot of Trump supporters follow him, right? You would agree, right? And so all the things that he said. So I haven't been following him religiously. I know that he used to be on the Young Turks with Zenk and Anna.
Yeah, Cenk and
I think they had a falling out. I was more on the Jimmy Dore side rather than Cenk.
Me too. I was.
Cenk,
I was as well.
Yeah, and so all the things that he was talking about, I felt like he was naive. When he was talking about, I suddenly found out about this about Trump. I think Trump was telling the truth about this because I already knew about that. But there weren't. So I don't watch him every day, but I would watch him every once in a while. But I didn't see a lot. I didn't see any episode that rubbed me the wrong way. That's what I'm trying to say. So.
No, his material is good when he talks about it, but behind the scenes,
so he's active behind the scenes. That's what you're saying.
He's active in covering up and destroying, and his media people, right? Yeah, the people that work with him, they work to actually, if like Dak Rouleau's another person, and he has testimony. I can show you in the video right now if you want. I'm gonna email that to you later so you can watch it for yourself. People that actually start to make progress. He's got a little circle that he works with, like the Gray Zone, Convo Couch, stuff
Gray
like that,
Zone. Yeah.
right?
The
And
Intercept is it also one of the gangs too? The Intercept. I don't know whether you know that outlet.
I've heard of them, but honestly, all the groups, even though he's beefing with Breaking Points and Crystal Ball and stuff like that, that whole media outlet, none of them report on the workers, and if they do, it's only with a certain select set. Look at the things that I'm accomplishing and ask yourself why they've never covered anything that I've done. I have Supreme from the Wu-Tang who was supposed to speak at the Rage Against the War Machine event, and he's actually been he actually said that these people are full of shit too. I have elected leaders like Mark Mixon from the Washington State who says that we brought these issues to Cornel West's face. I got people. Yeah.
Can I ask you how old you are, if
I'm
you don't mind?
48.
So we're same age, right?
I guess, yeah.
And okay, so you've been involved in like since when about politics?
Since the 90s.
Since the 90s. Okay, so you've been following pretty. Okay, I get you. I get you. Okay, so I understand your. Go ahead. Keep on.
So anybody who makes progress on actual issues such as Dak Rouleau, right? Yeah, who actually asked, and on camera, it's in the video, right, of him asking different U.S. presidential candidates about if they would support Assange, right? Then the thing is that Jimmy Dore takes these people and then his whole media apparatus works together to blackball these people. It's like Puff Daddy and the gatekeepers. You think that Puff Daddy, right? Yeah, like it seems like he's representing the black community. It seems like it's black excellence. No, right? Yeah.
He was Jeffrey Epstein 2.0.
It's a trap. But Jimmy Dore, he says the right things and he gets all the people behind him. He collects all the money, stuff like that, the access and the resources. But anybody who's making actual progress on the ground on that, that's how they win and make sure that there's no progress on these issues.
Wow.
Yeah. Think about it, right? Why are there no anti-war activists who are Korean American or Vietnamese American, or think about it, right? Or even Russian Ukrainian. They don't get to have a voice. It's the gatekeepers, Jill Stein, Cornel West, Jimmy Dore. They all work together. It's disgusting. Wait till you see my body of work and you're going to say, you know what? It doesn't make any sense that this guy has not been covered. Thank God I finally met up with you. We're about to make real things happen, man.
So you've been in the podcast business for 20. I didn't ask you what you did. I was in the middle of But anyway, I think I did. I still didn't finish.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah,
I get the audience what I'm doing. So anyway, as a journalist, I've been covering a lot of. I broke a lot of stories. I broke a lot of numerous stories, and I started my YouTube channel. I got 130,000 subscribers. I used to get 150 to 200,000 per episode back in the day before YouTube suppressed my channel. I mean, but anyway, so I became this huge. Probably I became the most famous Korean American journalist, I would say, by my YouTube channel. I think, that wasn't even my goal. I just wanted I just wanted the truth to be out there. And then I started my own personal channel, Yongsuk Won, Michael Won's Truth Politics, back in 2021. But as you might already know, probably you might be shadow banned. Are you shadow banned, Ed?
Absolutely.
I was heavily shadow banned. So I accumulated 47,000 subscribers within 1.5 months because my the former Michael Won's op-ed subscribers rolled over, but I got suppressed. So for 3 years, I was stuck at 47,000. Okay, until recently. I don't know why. I think because Google, they lost a lawsuit recently, antitrust law case. I think that's why they have been loosening up. So now I'm increasing again, but it was very frustrating. I wanted to actually start my independent journalism back in 2021. One of the reasons why I couldn't was because YouTube. I was suppressed by YouTube. I got pretty much I got demonetized a couple months ago, actually, my channel. So most of the Koreans in South Korea and Korean Americans in America, they get their news information from YouTube rather than Rumble or X or other social media platforms. So it's very frustrating to me. I have to always self-edit myself. You understand what I'm saying? I have to
Absolutely. Just so you guys see that I'm actually subscribed here, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm actually going to add it to my featured channels at the bottom. So he will be linked directly from my channel. Definitely check this guy out. Yeah. Oh wait, is this the right one? Or is there
No,
another
no,
one?
no. That's my backup channel. I think
Okay. Yeah,
you know,
share your thing in the share your thing because I just tried to search for it, I couldn't find it.
yeah,
I think you might be one
you
Truth
know,
Politics.
and why would I make a backup channel? You know, you know what I'm saying? I made a
Yeah,
backup channel because I had to. It's very frustrating because YouTube is the go-to place. I don't know whether you even go to Rumble that much. Do you go Rumble?
I have a Rumble, but they actually disabled. There was an auto update feature where they used to like load up your videos and it would automatically put it on Rumble. But
Oh,
I just been too busy to upload to both things because I'm
how
really
about
active in
X? Are you
first.
active in on X or
I've
Instagram
been
or
banned on
TikTok?
X, so I just I stopped posting.
How about
Um,
TikTok
no, I
or
don't do
Instagram?
TikTok. Yeah, I
Yeah,
do
I gotta
YouTube
be
pretty much.
more
Yeah,
active on that. So my plan is I'm gonna start an English show, English, completely, English show. That has always been my passion. To be honest with you, Ed, the reason why I started my Korean channel because I was working for a Korean American press, which we write and talk in Korean. But I
I'd love
always
to be. I'd love to be East Coast correspondent. We could be New York,
would be great,
LA. We have the
great.
two largest markets. Let's find someone in Chicago. We'll have the three largest markets: New York, LA, Chicago,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
we'll start to get
Mhm.
advertisers. Yo, let's do this, man. I'm
Yeah,
very
yeah.
excited about this.
So I always
Yeah.
wanted to do an English show, which I already did, back in during the Korea Daily days. But there's a lot of inner politics, and there were some people who were very jealous of me too because I was getting a lot of traction all over the place, and um, so I left there. I came to Radio Korea, but Radio Korea, between you and me, I don't know. I'll probably tell you in private, but yeah,
I
there
think
was.
Mike's watching this. I think Mike might be watching.
Who, who met
Michael,
you?
Mike, Michael Kim.
How do you know that?
How do I know
Is it?
him? Because I emailed because I've been emailing him. I was supposed to be on his show tomorrow. I was supposed to be on K Town Social tomorrow.
Oh, are you gonna be there?
No, I actually because I didn't confirm in time, so he might have me on later. But I actually tried to because he mentioned me on the show a couple times, right? Yeah, because I've been emailing trying to get on that show as well.
Oh, okay. So
Actually, it would be whatever. I have not been on any Asian American podcast yet or real show. So I was with me on K Town Social, but I would be on yours first. I'm waiting for any show Asian. I've been blackballed from the industry by Grace Meng and other bullshit going on.
is this gonna be live on Instagram and stuff, or is this
It's
live on?
live on YouTube right now. Like we're live on YouTube right now.
Oh, is this live on YouTube? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So there were a lot. So
Are you leaving Radio Korea?
I already kind of left.
You're still going to be on K Town Social or not really?
No, 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 no. I'm not.
Oh, you're done with K Town
I'm
Social.
not.
Okay, it
I'm
is
not.
what it
I'm
is.
not. Yeah, I'm not. So
I like that show though. I do feel like they do a good job of capturing the Korean American experience, but I'd love to actually work with anybody. And I think that you were actually, I do know that I've been following you for a while, right? I know that you've actually been in the space and I contacted you way
I.
back.
Mhm.
I'd love to actually do a show
What
with you.
year was that? Because I would probably you sent it to the wrong email.
I
Because
might have sent it to Facebook. I might have sent it to an Instagram address or something
yeah,
like that, right? Yeah.
I
I
get
might
a
not have
lot of
sent it to your
messages
actual
from
email.
via Facebook, and
Yeah.
sometimes I can't check all of it because
Hey,
Facebook
don't worry
has
about it.
so
We're
many.
here now. That's in the past. Now we're ready to move on. Yeah.
So are you active on the X world, or how does other Korean American know you? Active on the X
I'm
world, or
actually highly banned in the Korean American world because unfortunately, I don't. Oh, well, one thing that's interesting about Radio Korea is before they were working with this guy from PSL, and unfortunately, PSL is in league with the Jimmy Dore crowd because they're all millionaires, right? And what happens is Jimmy Dore allows Medea Benjamin, right? He'll help market her book for millions of dollars. So the thing is that when I'm actually complained to like Medea Benjamin here or People's Forum and say, look, I'm actually a war victim and I want to point out how there was sexual abuse going on in the People's Party, about where did all the money go, right? They had all that celeb support to start a third party. Where did all that money go? No, you won't hear Medea Benjamin talk about it. You won't hear Breakthrough News talk about it. You know why? Because they're covering for each other. Because that way Jimmy Dore will have them on the show and promote their stuff. And the little they call themselves communists, right? But how do they treat their own workers? Their workers are expendable pieces of crap. It's ridiculous. It's so wrong. And the fact of the matter is that these millionaires want to talk about revolution. I'm a Korean American. I know what revolution looks like, and I know the generational cost that it has on people like myself. You think all that violence disappears? No. Those parents that went through those, they take it out on their kids. Look at what Koreans are having the lowest birth rates in the nation because of our hyper competitive nature that was spawned by the Japanese occupation and also the post-war trauma, which is not being addressed by this nation. So people want to say, oh yeah, diversity, inclusion. There's no inclusion of our stories. There's no inclusion there's no acknowledgement of our suffering or sacrifice or accomplishments, right? Look at the way that Radio Korea is being erased from history in the Asian American curriculum here in New York. This is not going to be tolerated, man. Yeah, I mean,
Grace Meng is like as establishment as you can get, right?
Check this out. This is crazy, okay? The thing is that Grace Meng, okay, she's actually she was a replacement for Tulsi Gabbard, just so you know. When they get rid of someone who's outspoken like Tulsi Gabbard, they're going to replace her with someone who's going to guarantee do what the establishment wants.
Yeah,
And okay, let's talk about Israel for a second, right? Yeah, just so you know, she has all the Asian Americans out here supporting Israel instead of on Asian American issues, unless it's BS like Stop Asian Hate. Now,
it's almost like a unit party regarding Israel. It's
Grace Meng's. I'm working with her opponents right now, and Grace Meng's largest contributor is paid her $300,000, right, for pro-Israel stuff. She should register as a foreign agent. Not only that, okay, but the thing is that people say that Republicans are all for IPAC and Democrats are kind of like the good guys. Let's think about this. Guess how much money IPAC donates to Democrats? A little over $15.2 million. But how much do they donate to Republicans? You want to guess? Is it more? Is it less? What do you think?
I think it's less.
Okay. How much less?
So I did a research about it. Okay. I did a story about it.
Then you know.
And the PAC money on the PAC side, almost half of the Democratic Party's money accumulated, half of them comes from the Jewish community, including APAC. And also on the Republican side, it will be 1/4. So I don't know whether your math is the same as mine, but that was the
secrets, right? If you look at IPAC, it says that their contributions is a little under $2.2 million.
Republicans,
right. So Republicans are getting a little under $2.2 million. I actually spoke about
heavily more on the Democrat side, right?
8 times.
And
8 times.
Yeah. So I have Jewish friends, but I can tell you none of them like Donald Trump. None of them like him. So I can see that. Oh, okay. So Jewish community, Trump is not really popular among. Many Korean Americans, they have this misconception just because Trump moved the capital city of Israel, to Jerusalem. Just because of that, he thinks that many Koreans think that Donald Trump is super popular among the Jewish community, but that is not the case. I always tell people Donald Trump is probably the least popular among the Jewish population, and then probably after that it will be African American or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
It's all Democrat and media lies. It's this complicated web of BS and lies.
And you can see that from the mainstream media, because the mainstream media, majority of them are I don't know, Ed, this is on YouTube, since you said so. I'm being very automatically. I'm trying to be, I'm self-filtering myself. Once you said that. So
hey, they know what we're talking about. They know what we're talking about, right? From
what I'm saying is,
who owns Hollywood, right? Yeah, Weinstein.
So
Puff Daddy type of stuff. It's disgusting.
But I have friends in that community, but you can see how much they hate Trump just by looking at the media, because the media
this is not anti-Semitic, by the way.
Yeah, by not being anti-Semitic.
A lot of Hasidic Jews actually stand against Israel, the Israeli state. Just so you know, I don't know if you know about that.
So I think that is why I think Trump. I do hear that this year might be a little bit different. A little bit more of more Jewish population would probably move towards Trump, but I'm not sure. I'm always worried about it, because back in 2020, I think there were a lot of fishy things going on during the election. I don't know how you think about it, but I'm worried whether that same thing, it will be a replay of that come November 5th.
I can tell you right now, actually, my Activist of the Year, Theo Chino, I have interviews with over 100 activists over the year. Theo Chino is actually my favorite one out of all, still out of all this time. We actually released that Pierna Sanchez, who was a delegate for Biden, right? Yeah, that one of the people who signed the things was dead. Yeah, they do a lot of manipulation of, right? Yeah, on the county committee, right? Falsification of petitioning and stuff like that. This is still going on to this day in the county committee. I actually have worked with the not-for-profits, right? And I've actually seen them, the Project Veritas, where they're actually manipulating stuff at the nursing homes, They take advantage of people, right? That's why they're all in not-for-profit community. These people that are at risk, who are you know that when you go to GameStop, right? The thing is that they sign people who don't speak English up for a membership. They didn't ask for the membership, right? Because they don't speak English, they can be manipulated easily. And this thing is going on the Democrats too, right? I'm not saying, right? So they're taking care of the migrants, right? And some of them will become citizens and stuff like that. They work with the poor, and then these people that are kind of like reliant on these service providers, they are actually manufacturing votes and manufacturing registrations and all kinds of other garbage.
Yeah. But by the way, Ed, send me some links about the things that you were disappointed about. Ed, you said you know he wasn't covering about what you had to work, some truth that he didn't cover, right? That
Who's that? Jimmy Dore?
Jimmy Dore, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's actually been
Send me some
he's
of those.
been using his whole entire media circus, right? Was it Revolutionary
But I always
Convo Couch to step
I
on
didn't
me?
like Jimmy Dore back in the day. You know, I didn't like him. You know, back
He
when
says good things. I understand why we would like him, because I like
when
him
Jimmy
too.
Dore was
His
working
words
for
are
the
good.
young, you know, when Jimmy Dore was working for the Young Turks, they had a clashing against the Infowars crew with Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Remember that? And they
Yeah.
were, you know, and he spit on Alex Jones actually, and I thought that was kind of like abhorrent behavior. You know, so I did not like Jimmy Dore, but
I'm a
lately,
fighter, so I get it. I'm a
yeah,
fighter.
but I think that is kind of like crossing the line. But lately, I thought that he was telling the truth more on the truth side, and at
He's
this
very good at
point,
that. He does tell the truth, but
yeah,
only part of it. And then he's also behind the scenes actually getting rid of, right? It's a trap. It's more, it's another trap. The thing is that he's saying the good things. I'll send you the evidence,
okay.
and you'll see. He's been actually running cover for the People's Party. Once again, that's a huge telltale sign. And
The
I'll send
People's
you some of
Party,
that.
meaning Andrew Yang is also in that People's Party, right?
He went to speak at the Independence National Convention. He joined for a minute, but then he left, right?
Oh, did
Because
he
there was
leave? Okay.
the thing is that each one of them wants to rule their own little fiefdom. So the thing is that, right, this
So
happens in
they have an
Republican
ego
Democrats.
issue there.
It's definitely a big part of it, yeah. And also control of the money and the access. Remember that he's a millionaire now off of donations. Where's the war victims, bro? I thought you're anti-war, right? He's speaking. So I'll send you that in the background. Don't worry about it. We started to establish communications, but I'm very excited about this. The one thing that's really been hurtful is, because I don't have following, people don't take me seriously, so we really haven't been able to establish communications. But now we're going to start working on exciting projects together, like this Asian API for Trump, maybe get us to actually start building power within our own communities, and we're going to start advancing. So that's just one idea that I'm working on. I'm working on several others. I'm very excited to bring our communities together, right? You never heard of just so you know, tomorrow actually, Sumi Terry, the lady who was the spy for
He's
Korean America.
arrested. Yeah.
Yeah,
Her
her husband
is
Max Boot
Washington Post Max Boot. Yeah, columnist.
her husband Max Boot is giving a presentation tomorrow at the CUNY Graduate Center, and I'm going to be going there to see what's up and try to catch him and see what's going on.
Oh, are you friends with Max Boot?
No, actually, I think he's dodging me, and I've been emailing him. I can forward you the emails I've been sending him saying what's up, but
he's a never Trumper, an anti-establishment.
Oh, he is. I didn't know.
He's very for establishment. Isn't he?
He's Washington Post. He's an establishment reporter.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go in there and just and try to say what's up, right? I'm going to try to bring the wrongfully incarcerated with me. I'm going to bring victims of academic abuse, the disabled, all the things that they are ignoring. And also, right, just so you know, Grace Meng is also involved with her chief of staff her former chief of staff was found to be an agent for the CCP. You know about that? Linda Sun?
Who was an agent for the CCP again?
Linda Sun. Linda Sun, who was working for Hochul, right? Governor Hochul, she was found to be working for the CCP.
Oh, yeah. I know about that.
But
the New York
Linda Sun was formerly
state governor, right?
Yeah, but Linda Sun was formerly Grace Meng's chief of staff. Not only that, but the Korean American, the first elected Korean American in New York State named Ron Kim, he said, right, that the guy who they used to try to primary him, Andy Yi Chen, also has ties to the CCP, and Andy Yi Chen also has a ties to Grace Meng, and Grace Meng did not endorse Ron Kim in the race because she wanted Andy Yi Chen to win. And I've been protesting Andy Yi Chen for a long time.
Do you consider Ron Kim a good guy? He is, right?
Not all good, not all bad.
But he went against Andrew Cuomo.
I think
was it during the pandemic?
I think that may be more Democrat BS, right? The thing is that they actually will have people that seem to be on your side, but then they know ahead of time that the votes are not going to go that way.
Oh, all right.
I don't
Okay.
think that Ron Kim makes moves without the okay from higher ups. So I think that they wanted to help raise his profile a little bit and give him some credibility. Nothing's sure. The only I say trust the ones that they give you, not the ones that they I'll send you his email address. I'll send you I have videos of myself and Ron Kim. I'm going to email you and Ron Kim and say, why don't we have a discussion and see if he responds?
What do you think about Andrew Cuomo's nursing home
Oh, it's
care
disgusting.
controversy, and also the pandemic BS, the misinfo? I think it's disgusting. Yeah,
They
like
use the vulnerable.
it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
not only that.
Sometimes I ask myself, even though I read it, is it real?
Oh
Is
yeah,
this, can this really happen? At this day of age, that's how I took it when that whole nursing home scandal came about.
Not only that, right? That's only one of the corrupt places. Then also I also work with the homeless too, right? The homeless actually, his brother-in-law or something was actually there making $400,000, like he's the Kobe Bryant of homeless services. Wasn't really helping taking care of them, right? He was paid like out the wazoo. It's not just the nursing homes, but they take advantage, like I said before, the migrants to the people that are old, right? The people that don't speak English, they'll take advantage of these vulnerable groups and use it to further their own political interests. That's exactly what's going on there. They need to pump up the nursing home numbers, the enrollment numbers, so the not-for-profits can get more money to fund homeless
now
campaigns.
I remember it. Now I remember it. Yeah, now I remember.
That's exactly what the
thank you for reminding me. Yeah,
yeah. I'm a
it was
victim
all about
of this
money,
shit.
right?
I'm a victim of this to myself. You know what I mean? I got people in the shelters now, and the homeless shelters now. And, but our voices are not heard, right? The people who are affected by this stuff, they're not heard, right? The people
You
that
heard about what his brother said. Andrew Cuomo's brother, Chris Cuomo, said that he's taking ivermectin on a regular basis.
And they're having parties without masks, right, at restaurants and stuff during the lockdown.
Yeah,
the rules are for you, not for them. It's disgusting. Yeah.
The same as what Gavin Newsom did here when he had this expensive, lavish dinner party at French laundromat or whatever
They're
the name
so
of it
full of shit. You know that actually the New York guy who actually caused the lockdowns, right? The health commissioner, he was found to be having parties.
Orgy,
Yeah,
right? He was having an orgy
during the pandemic.
And where's the mainstream media covering all this? NYT, WAPO, CNN. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Why are they? It's all crickets.
That's why there's a time for a new generation for newscasters like yourself and myself who's going to tell the truth.
You, do you know among the Korean American media member, every single one who covers this? I'm the only one.
Well, I'm ready to join you, bro. You know what I mean? I'm with you, and I like that about you. That's why that's the only reason why I like K-Town Social Club, because I'm sorry to see you go, but I get it, right? You got to, if they're not really progressing. That lately they've been having talks about this and that, like much love out to Michael Kim, but some of the stuff is not as serious. There's real serious things going on, and I'm more about the hard stuff. I'm not mad at you guys having a little bit of banter, right? Talking about the restaurants and stuff locally. I'm not, and there's space for that too, but I'm white knuckle trying to make things happen here. So, I think you guys, yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of important issues that the minority community don't cover, and when I go to these Asian American events, like Asian American for Justice or all these events, I feel frustrated and depressed because they just pretty much, it's like you know what Operation Mockingbird is, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty much, I feel like, they're being victims of Operation Mockingbird. They're pretty much spewing out whatever their mainstream, whatever
establishment line,
LA Times is putting out there. They just follow. They just say the same verbiage, and it's very frustrating because I want the needle to change. I want people's perception to change where they say, "Hey, we don't believe in that BS anymore." I want that huge block of power movement, so that they can't blatantly lie like that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And it's actually, I contacted Council of Korean Americans. I contacted the professors that were spoke about the Say I Gu, right, or the LA riots, right, about what's going on with the curriculum here. none of them getting involved.
So you're black. Are you blacklisted by all those
Absolutely.
organizations?
I'm absolutely black. I'm blacklisted and blackballed, and it's ridiculous.
So
And thank God
you
we
are
finally
like
came out.
are you like an independent journalist? Can I say that you're an independent journalist ever since the 90s? Is that the right
So
term?
I'm an activist first, but I realized that
Activist
the media is
first.
not going to cover our stuff. So I just became a media guy to make sure that it
Okay.
gets covered because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know I cannot rely on them. So
yeah.
that's where a lot of people, because I had other people that I was working with, like a guy called Big Talk Little Talk. He was actually the producer for Kim Iverson, right? Yeah, I was with a guy named
Yeah, I
Frank
haven't
Nell.
heard from her for a while. Kim Iverson.
Okay, I was with another guy named Frank Analysis, right? Yeah, and the thing is that Frank Analysis got accepted into the group because we were part of something called Power Anthem Network. I was the first person in the nation to work on Force the Vote, right? When I went to AOC's office and I posted a big sign there, but they saw that I was out of control and they decided to replace me with Jackson Hinkle, and that's how his career started. That's
So
when, yeah.
how did you get to know my stuff? My English
Okay.
show, Michael Wan's op-ed. Is that the one?
So the
My
thing
English
is that
one?
back in the day, like I would, being Korean American, I would just always want to reach out to find other Korean Americans. So that's how I found about Council of Korean Americans. I would actually, I know they're a big national group. I would contact Koreans from all over and just try to Korean American professors, right, who wrote about like say I Gu, things like that. Elaine Kim, you may have heard of, she made a movie. She's a
I
famous
know David
producer.
Kang. You know David Kang? He got involved in some sexual harassment issue.
Oh, really? I didn't know. Yeah, I reached out to
Some sex
uh,
scandal. Yeah.
David Kim ran for Congress, right? I reached out to. There was also lately they had that lady for city council, Gloria Lee or something, right? On
Oh, so
cable.
David Kim. So you know David Kim?
I reached out to him for an interview. I never got a response, right? But I don't. Right, he's a politician. He's busy. But these other organizations, Council of Korean Americans, No to Tool, right? I've contacted them. They blackballing me on behalf of the controllers. What's his name? Brian Becker, Answer
Uh-huh,
Coalition.
uh-huh.
So just because I was researching all Korean Americans, I eventually came across your work, and I did actually see you doing some of the sports stuff, but you were a Korean American newscaster, so I think I saw you.
I
I
covered sports too, yeah, because I'm,
yeah,
I'm well versed. I'm well, well informed about the sports world. I haven't been following sports for a while, but I think
yeah.
sports is very important because it's such an integral part of American culture.
I think I
So,
might have seen you in the transition time, so I think that's like so. I just
oh,
saw you
so that's
something.
like more
I
than a
sent an
decade ago.
email. That's it. What's that?
That's more than a decade ago. That would be
Yeah,
like 2012, because
I don't
that's
even remember if I sent it to Radio Korea. I might have, right? Yeah, right, yeah. But I don't know. Radio Korea's never responded. Mike Kim has responded from Cora 8, but Radio Korea TV has never responded to any of my emails.
okay.
So it might have been your management or whoever, right?
When are
Whatever.
you planning to appear there?
As soon as I can. As soon as I can. I've never been on any Asian American program or really. I've been promoted by other. Even Al Sharpton has acknowledged me when I was protesting DEI. He said he's one of us, pointing to me because I've done so much work with the poor people in his organization while he
But
was out.
isn't Al Sharpton one of the establishment now? I
He
feel like he's
is. He
compromised now,
absolutely is. He absolutely is.
right?
But I appreciate the fact that he has access.
Okay.
But yeah, he's in bed with the BS. But you
Yeah, Al
know,
Sharpton used to be buddies with Donald Trump back in the day, right? And
but
now
I
he's
mean,
on.
yeah. But the thing is that in his organization, right? Even though the leadership of a lot of the organizations like suppressed my stuff, including the I was on Larry Sharp once, right? But the Libertarians, Angela McArdle, is also in bed with Jimmy Dore and Nick Brown and all these other assholes, Jill Stein, right? Yeah, they're all working together. Um, the people on the ground have similar stuff. So even though, right, before you said Yang is trash, you were always right about that. But the thing is that what I do give him credit on his ground game, the people who liked Yang, there was a lot of people there. And some of them had some good technical skills and ability. And the thing is that even though my heart was really more with Tulsi. But the thing is that after the campaign was over, nobody really came into the Tulsi group saying, "Can you come work for our campaign?" But I switched,
I wish.
but when I
I
went
wish
to the
that.
Yang thing,
Yeah.
mad candidates ran at Yang saying, "Can your people help us?" Because he actually had a ground game.
I wish that Tulsi Gabbard would be Secretary of State if
Well,
Trump.
Tulsi Gabbard, unfortunately, she's blackballed me as well now because she decided to back up Jimmy Dore and Nick Brana, and she shit on the rest of the
Yeah, but because Ed, you got to understand that Jimmy Dore is a force. He has a
yeah, he's
lot
got
of.
million subscribers. I get that,
Yeah,
but
he has a lot of following. I don't know. Isn't he more powerful than the Young Turks now? In
but
my view, he is.
I get
I
that,
don't
but
think I don't think Anna and Zenk brings a lot to the table. You understand what I'm saying? I think
I'm
they're
not.
very
Yeah, I'm not saying that I need to cancel Jimmy Dore. He can be a part of the movement. I think he's a good voice for the movement. But the problem is that he doesn't get to replace us.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
you're
what he's
saying
doing.
that Jimmy Dore is probably 25% compromised, something like that, right? What I'm hearing from you. He's somewhat playing to the big guy, playing towards the big guys, not the. He's forgetting the small people.
When
That's
you think like, you know, when you think like this, right? Like, because remember, I'm the elf because I represent the little people that do the work on the ground. But the thing is that, right? Think about Jimmy Dore. If Nick Brown is abusing us little people on the ground, right? Yeah, it doesn't matter because we can be replaced, right? Because we're nobodies. So they went through 7 generations, including one of the only third-party professors in the nation. What's his name? Jonathan Martin, right? Who was part of Draft Bernie. They also went through the head of Our Revolution LA. His name was Jerry Perez. Myself, I'm a very accomplished activist. Renee Johnson also left. Everybody's disposable except for the big cats at the top. This is also true with the communists as well, right? They say they're for the little guy. They say they're for us. Where's your little people at then? Oh, did they all sign NDAs and they can't say
So
anything,
you're
Jimmy
saying
Dore?
that Jimmy Dore started to not care about those anymore. He just started to appease the big
He
guys.
actively suppressed us over 7 separate generations. And still, I'm still asking this question now. If the People's Party had so much money and support, celebrity money, they had Cornel West pumping them up. So they were collecting $20,000 to $30,000 a month at one point. Where did all that money go?
How much? 20 to
$20,000
what?
to $30,000 a month
A month?
for the People's Party. Where did all that money go?
Okay.
Anytime we try to start a state party and do the paperwork, they got in the way
So
and
I
stopped
think
us.
those specifics you know much better than anybody.
Yeah, because I actually do
you're on
stuff
the
on the
ground.
ground.
Yeah, so
So
get.
I know,
I take you as face value.
and
Yeah.
you don't hear about. And do you hear about any other on the ground people? No, it's always their Jill Stein. Where's her state representatives? You don't hear about them, right?
What do you think
Where's the state leadership? I
What do you
thought
think
they're a ground up movement. They're not.
Does Jimmy Dore know you personally?
Oh yeah, I've
He
been
doesn't.
causing mad problems for him. Anybody messing with Jimmy Dore in New York City, I mess them up. If you're endorsing Jimmy Dore out here in New York City, I'm coming to your events and I'm disrupting that shit. I'm fucking it
Oh,
up.
so when Jimmy Dore has like a stand-up comedy routine there,
Oh yeah. Oh, I go and fuck it
like
up. Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely, yeah. He came to New York once out of all these years. Recently, yeah. I kicked over a table over there, right? Yeah, but look at how many times he come to New York. Not a lot. I have videos of myself disrupting Ron Placone.
So,
Anybody social with his whole clique, Kim Iverson, Diane Sayre, anybody touching Jimmy Dore out here in New York City is getting smashed and rolled on by myself personally.
Kim Iverson and Jimmy Dore, are they buddies?
They're buddy because once again they can share the audience. Remember, Kim Iverson spoke at Rage Against the War Machine, spoke nothing about Asian American
Kim
issues.
Iverson used to talk about dating tips back in the day. She didn't cover politics. You know what? You know, I see a lot of people.
They're not activists first. I'm an activist first.
Yeah.
They're media personalities who wanted to really.
Yeah, but you know what? The nitty gritty of politics, nobody knows better than the activists like you. You know, I agree on what you said because you know the details that are not covered on the YouTube sphere or the Rumble sphere. So I understand what you're trying to say.
And all of them, they purposely push down and suppress people that don't make them look good. People that's,
So,
go ahead.
So Ed, what made you a Trump supporter this time around? Were you Trump supporting back in 2016 or 2020? It doesn't sound like it.
I was actually out of the country. I was actually in Grenada during most of the time that Trump. I was in Grenada for most of the time that Trump was president, so I didn't really get to see a lot of what happened.
That 2016 election cycle, you were out of it.
2016, I think I was supporting Tulsi Gabbard. No, that Tulsi Gabbard was 2020. 2016, everybody.
No, that was probably
most people thought Trump wasn't going to win. I wasn't. I hated Hillary Clinton. I think she's disgusting. She's actually, I think, extremely disturbing, like with the death list and stuff. I think that this needs to be looked at.
If you look at the list, it gives you chills, right? All the people.
It really does. It really does. Yeah.
Is the body count like 60 plus or 80 plus, right?
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
And you see a lot of people commit suicide even until recently, like years ago. I remember like in Chicago, there was one hotel, there was one guy who kind of hanged himself. It just freaks. I mean, people don't hang themselves, I mean, I just feel, Jeffrey
Epstein didn't kill himself. right? Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, there are a
Who
bunch
thinks
of like,
Jeffrey Epstein actually killed himself,
there are a
right?
bunch of
And
luther journalists who believe that Jeffrey Epstein really committed suicide. I mean, to
the
me,
guards happen
they're
to be
not journalists.
sleeping.
If you think that Jeffrey Epstein just really committed suicide, then to me, you are not a journalist. To me, you know what I mean?
You're a propagandist. You're a shill. You're out there to cover up to cover up and make up stories. The whole thing just doesn't add up. So Hillary Clinton's a scary character. She was actually disgusting, pandering, right, with the hot sauce. It's just, I find her despicable. So, and the way that she categorized Trump supporters as a basket of deplorables.
Yeah.
Look, so I'm
And
not
she's
saying I
the
agree
one
with.
who she's
Yeah.
the one who propagated the Trump-Russia collusion thing.
Look,
It was her camp.
there's certain things that I have that I'm unhappy with Trump myself too, right? The fact of the matter is that he had I took the longest wrong-thinking congressman in New York State history, Otis Johnson, Reverend Keith Gadsden, to Trump's doorstep. Instead of talking about them, he invited Amber, what's her name? Amber Rose,
Amber
to speak
Rose,
at the
the one
RNC.
who came out on the Republican National
That's
Convention and
and
gave
he
us.
had Chef G, right, some kind of drill rapper to when he came to New York. So no one's perfect. No one's all good or all
Yeah,
bad,
Amber Rose, I
right?
think she did a lot of spooky stuff back in the day, but I
Yeah,
think I
she's
don't.
disgusting too. She's part of that whole Puff Daddy,
Yeah,
right? What?
but
Come
I
on,
think
Trump. Yeah, it's like,
she
yeah,
had a
don't do
waking
that.
up. I don't know what happened, but I mean, she did say the right thing. She said she finally found out that the mainstream media, what they are saying was, was spreading disinfo, misinfo, and she just bought into it. So I think,
So instead of having the longest wrongful incarceration in state history and even national history, right, and political prisoners, right, talking about Trump, right, yeah, instead they have Amber Rose. Yo, some of those
I guess
diseased ass
so,
Democrat people got in Trump stuff too, and they're in his ear too. You know what I mean?
yeah.
He's
I mean, I'm trying to be a Trump apologist here. I think the reason is because you have this perception where the big tech, no, the big Hollywood people, they're all supporting Democrats. So I think he wanted to portray to the people, hey, there are some celebrities who are supporting me. This time around, it's a little bit different. Like Dwayne the Rock Johnson, he endorsed Joe Biden back in 2020, but this time around, he said he's not. He's gone. He's not going.
I have this line that I use all the time. I say, trust the ones that be with you, not the ones that they give you. If
Yeah.
you more than I like Trump actually himself, and honestly, I feel like Trump and Kamala in many ways the same because they're not talking to me. But people like yourself.
I
But
have to
what I
say,
like is the Trump community, like people like yourself, people that
yeah.
are actually willing to
Yeah,
speak
because
for you.
we talk with people, you know that.
Yeah,
I talk with
yeah.
everybody,
And
like
the
even in the
community like
Korean
yourself
public,
is
I would
really
talk
the prize,
yeah,
not Trump himself. People like you.
yeah, I
That's
talk
why.
with everybody. I talk with communists, in the Koreatown Social Club. You can see, I talk with everybody. I mean,
Good.
even I told Michael Kim knows this. I told him, do you have issues with talking with certain ideological people who have certain ideology? And I said I would talk with anybody up front.
Yeah.
I told him that, and I think you can find more of. So I'm not like Trump's. So I'm supposed to be an independent journalist. So I'm not supposed to root for either one. But if you have 99.9% of the media rooting for the Democratic presidential candidate every single time, then automatically I'm gonna gear towards the other way.
I
You know what
support
I'm
the
saying?
Trump community. Yeah, not so much Trump, but more the Trump community.
Yeah, the Trump community, I would say, probably is healthier, like you said. Trump,
Yeah,
I think he's
absolutely.
more of a he. I don't know. I give massive respect to Trump because I don't think anybody can withstand all this attack on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? I think Donald
Yeah.
Trump is the only. I don't think in this entire earth. I mean, I'm not trying to put him like really like in the holy level. I'm not talking about it like
Yeah.
that. But him
He's just a man.
as a gutsy figure, a person who has balls. You know what I'm saying? As a person who has, I don't see any single, even from now, even after the Trump era is over, I don't see a single person who can withstand from these continuous deep state attack, mainstream attack, big tech attack on a constant basis. For that, I give him massive respect.
And also the thing is that Trump responds to power and following. So the thing is that, right, we as Asian Americans and Korean Americans, we got to build our own power. That's why I'm so excited about this AAPI for Trump thing.
Yeah.
We can raise our profile and then he'll actually acknowledge us. We can give him credit on some things. We can say, these things these are some issues that we're concerned about and we can work together. And I'm not against working together. So I'm very excited. I've been praying for this moment, and I was really putting a lot of hope on you actually being a part of that particular API for Trump. So I'm very
Yeah,
excited.
I mean, you have my email address. Probably you sent it the wrong place. You have my
I
email
probably
address.
did, yeah.
We can go back and forth on that, and all the best, man.
Thank
Thank you
you,
for
thank you.
inviting.
Hey, man. So before we go, can you just share your actual YouTube thing on the screen right there? I think you should be able
Yeah,
to
I
share
think
the
I
screen.
did.
I want
Hold on.
everybody to follow your stuff
Yeah,
straight up and
do
down.
you see that private chat that I sent you?
Oh, okay, let me go. I'm
So
sorry.
this
Let
is
me
my
go. I went there
Korean.
now. Okay, I'm opening it now. I'm going to share on the screen right
Because
now. Give me a second before we go. And that's basically, yeah, we'll definitely be talking more.
Yeah,
Let me just share
let
this
me
right here.
send it to you one more time. But I don't know
Okay,
how many
Won
of your
Yongsuk
audience can
Won,
how many of your audience can speak Korean. But this is a Korean language show.
yeah.
English
I'm gonna,
wise, I used to do Michael Wan's op-ed back in the day.
okay.
I had it all the way up to 2,500, and then I left my position there, and then at Radio Korea, yeah, Korea, like you said, Koreatown Social Club was a place, Culture Shock. I also did an English show there too, as well.
Oh yeah, there's that other guy who never comes on the program, but he's kind of funny.
Yeah,
You
you
know
mean
what I'm talking about?
Young Kim.
Yeah, why doesn't he ever come on to
I can't talk about that because that's more of a Radio Korea situation.
But is he still there?
No, he's not.
Okay. But like I thought he was.
I left there too, so I left Radio
It's
Korea.
all good. Don't worry about it. Yeah, like no place is perfect, right? Nothing all good, nothing all bad, right? So we have to be careful about that. But I'm very excited to work with you. I'm hopefully you could have a New York correspondent if you're interested, right? New York's the largest market in the nation, and I'm sure that you don't want to jump on it right away, right? I don't really have a following, but let's exchange more, see what work we're doing.
Sure, yeah, that's always since you bring a lot of new information that I didn't know about the Jimmy Dore angle too, because I consider Jimmy Dore one of the good guys, and you're telling me a lot of other information about it. So I would like to know about it. I would like because I'm the type of person, I'm the type of journalist who wants to know the 360 point of view, rather than just one angle. Okay, so among all the so I don't want to even pigeonhole myself as a conservative commentator, but I became one because I was talking. I'm the only one still out there who talks about the other point of view. I've been criticizing Trump heavily about his appointees, about Secretary of State, Attorney General. I think I gave him an F, actually. I think that was horrendous, all the people that he's surrounded with. And I think sometimes the people working for him, they're loyal to him, but Trump is sometimes not loyal back to them. I see that as a character flaw, but I don't know. Nobody's perfect, like you said. So
I think that's going to be so much better
like,
about our program instead of blindly shilling for Kamala.
Exactly. So I have never been a blind. Yeah, I have been criticizing Trump heavily about those, but I do think in the bigger picture, he's on the good side. I think he's a good guy. Yeah, that's how I see it. I think he's more on the good side rather than if you compare it to Hillary, Obama, Biden, all these other. I think to me, they're more of a puppet. They're more of puppets.
I rock a lot with like people that's like I'm an anarchist by originally, so I got a lot of connects people that really hate Trump so bad. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if your groups are not helping me, if groups are not helping my coalition, the wrongfully incarcerated, right, the people with disabilities, the people that you say that you're for helping, then y'all all talk. Y'all talk.
Right.
So,
I mean, at this point, if you're still confused about whether to vote for Kamala or Trump, to me, it kind of makes it makes me doubt about what you are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not supposed to even say this, but it's like, are you still not awake? I mean, you can't even see the truth.
They're living easy lives. They have other things going on where they don't
probably
deal with these realities. They can live in a fantasy world or an echo chamber. So, Michael, I'm so honored to have you on the program, man. Oh my goodness, yeah, I very rare.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. So I'll invite you back too. Okay, on my show.
Thank you. I'm gonna send you an email real quick about the Asians for Trump thing. Thanks so much. You're gonna be on my next newsletter too. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Great.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right. Peace out.
Peace out. All right. To end stream.